Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for joining us for our Spring to Success webinar, where we are going to be discussing how to build quickly and securely up to $250,000 in zero interest business credit. So I'm really excited to be going over this today. And so what we're going to be discussing is business credit and how it's the best form of funding available today. And what exactly does that mean? There's all these different types of funding out there, but which ones are the safest for you and give you the best options? For example, they're the lowest interest. So we're gonna also be talking about how to get a lot of this type of credit, how you can get $25, $35, $55, $100,000 of this on just one credit line. And we can use multiple credit lines. It's called business credit card stacking, and how to maximize those approvals. We're also going to talk about how to get a lendable entity, how to form one, how to set it up, and the top reasons why people are getting denied. We're also going to talk about proven ways to boost your credit scores. Now, my name's Ari Page. I'm the CEO of Fund and Grow. I'm also an author. And I've been in the lending space for over 15 years, where I've generated in various companies that I've worked, two different companies that I've worked in, which is Fund and Grow, and a mortgage company which Fund and Grow was born out of, where we've generated over $1.2 billion in funding. And I've grown the team from just me to 65 plus people. So here we are in front of our building, the Fund and Grow team. And as I mentioned, we've generated over $1.2 billion since 2007. We've been on the Inc. 5000 list every year since 2016, as well as the regional Florida Inc. list, which is an accomplishment for us as well. So we're A+ on the BBB, and we have hundreds and hundreds of new clients every month joining us. And we're generating over 20 million, around 23 to 24 million actually, a month in funding for our clients. And that's generated us over 5,000 five-star reviews, and that's by serving over 29,000 business owners. So I want to encourage everyone to stay connected with us. We're going to be discussing today how to grow your business through getting access to funding. My first question for everyone that's joined us, whether you're on YouTube or on GoToWebinar, come and let me know in the comments or the questions area, what's holding you back? What's holding your business back? I really want to know what is holding you back. Now, a lot of entrepreneurs are held back by capital. They call it the capital constraint. And what that means is that they're unable to invest into their businesses to create the growth that they're really looking for, because you have to have money to invest to grow. Or you could take a snail's pace and just slowly grow as you're generating income, which a lot of businesses do that. But in order to really scale, you're going to need access to funding. And the type of funding that we're talking about today is business credit cards, and how to access those cards without incurring any fees, and how we can stack up to $250,000 of this type of credit. So this type of credit doesn't appear on your personal credit report. You're able to earn rewards and cash back and travel miles. In fact, I'm going to be going over a slide in a little bit to show you how many thousands and thousands of dollars I get back every quarter just for spending that my business has to do anyway, because I use a credit card. And so you can also use this to buy real estate. You can literally wire money right from your credit card directly to your title company. No collateral or assets are required. That's what the word unsecured means. A lot of people don't know what that word unsecured means. It means it's not going to be secured to an asset or your collateral. It's a good thing for you. And another great thing is that no tax returns or income verification is required. Not that we're recommending that anyone's disingenuous, but no tax returns or income verification is required. Now, why would you want to use this type of funding over other forms? Well, as you can see, there's a lot of different types of money out there, and hard money is one of the forms of funding that a lot of real estate entrepreneurs use. And as you can see, the simple cost of hard money is absolutely staggering when you actually break it down and take a look at it. Now, am I advocating not using it? No, there's still a lot of benefit to using hard money. But if you can access $100,000, $250,000 of business credit at a fraction of the cost, I would recommend investing that first before moving on and using hard money. But yeah, there's a lot of different types of loans out there, and you can get approved across the board. A lot of people think they can't. They think that they're not going to be able to get access, but you just have to know what type of funding to go after for your particular scenario. So there's all these excuses out there. There's all these different reasons why people don't want to get started, but the reality is this form of funding is very simple. It's simply based off of you and your person and your business. So in other words, it's based off of your personal credit and off of your business. And we're going to get further into this, but we're going to show you how you can leverage and get access to business credit to invest in your business right away. But my question is, what are you going to use the funding for? In your business, if you had $50,000, $100,000 right now, what would you use it for? Come to the comments or to the questions area and let me know, what would you use it for? So you have to have a strategy to build up to the large amounts of funding. You want to build 100, 200, 250,000 of this type of unsecured. And remember, unsecured means it's not secured to anything of yours. So it's just, this easy to access funding. Well, you have to have a strategy. Now, there's a lot of banks out there that offer this. There's, you have all the major ones, Bank of America, US Bank, all the major banks offer. Then you have many, what we call regional footprint banks. They also offer the 0%. It could be from 6 months to 9 months to 12 months. We've seen it as long as 22 months at 0%. And so what we do is we're applying we first help our clients. And of course, there's a lot of things that I'm going to talk about on today's call that are actionable things that you can take action on right away. Then there's also going to be things that I'm going to talk about, which are the strategies that the Fund and Grow team uses for our clients. So you can also take what I'm going to talk about, these funding strategies, and you can implement these same things. So what we would do, what our team would do for you, is we would apply for multiple credit accounts at the exact same time. We would go after Bank of America, Chase, American Express, US Bank, and I'm just throwing out examples of different 0% lenders. But this is how the credit card stacking process works. Once you've gone over your personal credit and maximized it to its fullest lendability possible, and we're going to be getting further into that in just a moment, then you can move forward and execute an application strategy. And then you can do such things such as extend your 0% with the card stacking process, which I'm going to get further into. Then you do through multiple application batches, you build your aggregate amount of funding larger and larger. And here's a couple clients, just real quick, clients that have received, there looks like we have a client here in their first batch of funding has received 100,000. They're thanking their team member at Fund and Grow who helped them. And then we have another one at 73,000 and 80,000. So now my question for you on the call right now is, how much funding do you need to start or scale your business right now? Come to the questions area. Let me know. I really want to know, how much funding do you need? Is it 250,000? Are you just looking for a microloan just for 50,000? Either way, whatever you're looking for is really important to understand that the structure of your entity, how your entity is set up, makes all the difference in how much funding you're going to get access to. So everyone's more than likely on the call has got an entity or got a company set up. Now, how it's set up makes a big difference. So there is some industry or there's some entities that are going to have the attributes that the banks are looking for. If you were a bank and you were looking at someone's company, you would want to see specific attributes. So what are those attributes? They want to see that you're in the right industry, that you're in a safe, lendable industry. In other words, not in like risky investments or something, right? They also want to see that the name of your entity is a safe name, that it's not, for lack of an example, Ari's Risky Investment Club.com. And so that's obviously a no-no. So, and they also want to see the seasoning, how long your business has been open. These are the three main things needed for successful funding. And this is also something that when you work with Fund and Grow, this is part of what we provide to you, is an entity that will work in all three of these main points. So then on top of that, if you already have multiple entities on your own, you can utilize the multiple entities, multiple LLCs, S Corps, C Corps, in order to help enhance even further access to funding. And then you can loan money from one business to another. So if you have money coming in through one business, let's say you set up a marketing agency, and which is a very, very lendable industry, by the way. So let's say you set up an entity specifically for marketing for your company. That business may be a lot more lendable than your main operating business. And so sometimes you can use that marketing business to generate money that you then lend to your main business. This is all completely above the books. The banks love doing this. And we can get you access to a lot of funding using these types of strategies. So you can use all the entities that you have to help you get access to the most amount of funding possible. Now, one of the things that we do within our program is we help people go over their reports. We help them look at their entity to figure out what we can do to put all the links to the chain in order to get you access to funding right away. Well, some of that is that you need to simply understand the basics of what's going on your credit report. If you're not understanding the basics of what's going on your credit report and the type of debt that you're holding and what type of funding you're going for, you're not going to have a plan in place to be able to do this. So if you want our team to do it, of course, we're happy to do it. And this is what we do for our clients all day long. We move them forward, getting them all types of access to funding. So for all those that want to learn it on the call right now, I'm going to go over the credit report. So what I pulled up here on the screen is a snapshot, a close-up of the modules, the printouts of what's called the consumer score readout, which is, in this case, you have the Beacon 5.0 scoring module being used, you have the FICO Classic version 4 being used, you have the Fair Isaac, which is just a different version of FICO, the version 2 being used. And so as you can see, for Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, they're all using a different consumer module. So understanding the module that's being used is understanding the insight into which the bank is going to have looking at your credit report. So what we would do at Fund to Grow, what you need to do is you need to understand what's going on in your credit report. So this is a consumer credit report that I pulled up. And as you can see, these are the things that they're complaining about on this particular credit report. And so I just want to bring up some examples of how, where you have like code 30. Code 30 saying time since most recent account opening is too short. And so we see that code 30 is the same on both of these, on Equifax as well as TransUnion, is the top code. And then on Experian, coming up as too many inquiries in the last 12 months. And I'm going to explain why I'm talking about this, why these different codes mean something. So now let's look at the rest of the consumer credit report. So on your screen, I've brought up a snapshot of 2 accounts off of a consumer credit report. And as you can see, on these accounts, they have these specific data fields, the account name, all the way down to comments. And then they have Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, so you can see all 3 different bureaus. And this is simply one account. This is a target account. And on this target account, they only give you a 24-month payment history. Unfortunately, when you're dealing with a consumer credit report, they're never going to give you a full history, a full snapshot of your credit. It's kind of hard to interact with the banks on an uneven footing when they have access to more information than they're willing to give you. And I'm going to give you some very specific examples. And these examples are actually ones that upset different banks. We've literally got letters from the banks telling me to stop telling people this stuff. They're like, stop telling people because we don't want them to. I mean, what they're basically saying is they don't want you guys to understand what's going on your credit report. And I'm going to show you. Do you see how you have a date open field right here? Well, this date open field is what this account is based off of. It's based off of being opened on May of 2010. And so it's very clear what the date open field is. But when you look at an actual bank level credit report, which I've just pulled up, notice how in the date open field, they have one date. So right here, I've just brought up a bank level credit report. And so what you see running from left to right are all of these are all different accounts. So just to explain real quick, these are different accounts. And so I want to point out a few things on these different accounts, like on this GMAC mortgage in the red box here. On the date open field, it says it was opened 06 of 2005. But yet now let's look over to this field over here, the historical status review field. Okay? This historical status field is only showing 1 month of seasoning. So this client that's had this account open since 2005 is getting 1 month of seasoning. And back here, guess what it would show up? It would say that it was opened on the date that it was opened. All they would show you is this date right here. But yet this field is the one that's actually determining your seasoning. And the banks don't want you to know that. They've actually literally told me, stop telling people, stop breaking it down for them. You're explaining it too well. We want them to think that is the date they opened the account. And it is the date they opened the account. But the fact of the matter remains, they don't use that to determine your score. So you as a consumer might spin your wheels trying to get that updated over and over, saying, I don't understand why these specific things are coming up. Why are these coming up on my report? They're coming up because they're reporting this instead of this. Instead of them showing that this account has been open since 2005, they're showing 1 month of seasoning. And so this account that was open since 2005, it should show more like this with 99 months of seasoning. But they're able to reset these accounts back in order to make it so that you're not quite as lendable, and they're able to do little tricks and things that they want to do to help them make more money off you. They don't want you to be fully empowered, because when you are, then they can't charge you all the nickel and dime fees. They're not trying to give you 0% forever. We're the ones helping you get that. We're the ones helping you position so that you can get access to long-term 0%. So let me give you a couple other examples of how the banks tried to obfuscate information off of your report on the consumer report versus the bank level report. So what a lot of the banks like to do, like Bank of America and Chase and all of them, they like to give credit cards to clients that have really good credit scores. They like to give them a card that has no limit. So imagine you're a consumer, you have really good credit, and you're like, I should get access to the best possible financing. I have really good credit. Well, the banks, they have another idea in mind. What they're going to do is they're going to give you a credit card that has no limit, like this right here. See this Chase card? You see how there's no limit in the field right here? It says 0. Well, what this does for this particular consumer, even though this particular consumer had like a $25,000 or $30,000 soft limit. So they had a $30,000 soft limit. And this soft limit was within Chase's system. Within Chase's system, they were allowed to spend up to 30 grand. If they logged into their Chase account, they had 30 grand available. But on the consumer credit report, it showed up as a 0. And the reason for that is they told them, listen, you're such a high-end consumer, we're giving you what's called a no-limit credit card. Now, of course, within the system, they had a limit, but on the credit report, they don't give a limit. Now, why do they do that? They do that because as soon as you put $1 on a credit card, see the balance field? As soon as you put even $1 on the balance field, now it says you are $5,392 over the limit of 0. So when the credit report tries to calculate your score, it's saying it's taking your debt and it's dividing it by the amount of access to credit you have. Well, it's saying you have no credit on this. So this $5,392 is $5,392 over limit. So they give you the no limit card so that as soon as you use it, the credit report thinks you're over limit and it pulls your scores down. When your scores are pulled down, you have less access to other accounts from other vendors. You know, other banks aren't going to approve you with low scores. So they're able to pull, and they target people with high credit limits. And that people that have high scores. So if you have a high credit score, they may have already, Chase, Bank of America, all of the major banks have these no limit cards. Or I think Bank of America calls theirs the fair and flexible card. American Express calls theirs the open card. But what they're telling you is they're not going to report the limit into this field. And then you're screwed. You put even $1, now you're $1 over limit. You put 5,392, and it's gonna show up like this. You're gonna have all of these codes showing up saying that you're over limit. And you're not even over limit. And there are so many more things I could show you guys. Look how down here, American Express is even messing with this client's seasoning on a closed card. Because your seasoning matters, folks. How long you've had accounts opening, it matters. So your seasoning is a huge chunk of your overall score. Your payment history, 35%. That's what they're messing with. They're messing with 35% with that field. The amount of debt and using an open card or a no limit card, that's 30% of your score they're messing with. You can't you have to really understand what's going on in your scores if you guys want to move forward and get access to large amounts of this type of funding. And everyone can get access to it. If you're in America and you have a credit score, then you can move forward and get access to it. And the best part is the funding doesn't even show up on your credit report. Now, you do have to have good personal credit, but it's not going to show up on your personal credit report. And that's a really big part. Now, one of the things that's important as you're going from application batch to application batch on getting business credit card funding, you want to remove your inquiries. So removing inquiries, disputing your inquiries, and removing them are important. But there's something really important to know. You can't just dispute any old personal inquiry. Because if you inquired legitimately, then you can't just go and dispute it because you did inquire. But if you're inquiring and you're applying for a business credit card, a business inquiry, and I want you guys to write this down, a business inquiry cannot be held against your personal credit report. And it's going to drop your scores by a lot. So the business credit inquiries incurred from a business credit card cannot be held against your personal credit report. If you don't believe me, go online, dispute it, and you'll watch it fall off. And we also teach you how to do that. And if you need access to see if they're even on there, you can go to fundandgrowcreditservices.com, which gives you access to be able to look at your credit. And as you know, we're on your guys' side. We're trying to help expose these things. We want consumers to be aware of what they're dealing with. So you can go to Fund and Grow Credit Services, and that way you can get access to your credit. That's not our main program or anything. That's just a credit monitoring program that will help you be able to see what's going on your credit. So now let's talk about another form of credit. So far, we have talked about personal credit and how that ties into business credit, specifically business credit cards that you're able to get the 0% introductory rate on. So far we've talked about personal credit and business credit. Now we're going to talk about corporate credit. Now corporate credit is different than business credit because business credit, while it doesn't report to your personal credit report, they still want to look at your personal credit report and make sure that everything's in good standing. And if you were to default, then eventually within 3 to 4 months, it is going to have a ding on your credit report. So that is what business credit is. But with business credit, you can get access to credit cards to up to $250,000 in a very short period of time. Now with corporate credit's a whole nother thing altogether. So right now we're sitting in an over $1 million building here at Fund and Grow, and that was bought through corporate credit. Nobody personally signed for it. There was no, credit report ran or personal credit looked at. There was nothing was needed except for Fund and Grow as a business to get access to being able to buy their own building. And Fund and Grow has been able to buy more than one building. And with it, we've been able to do this because we've built our corporate credit. And our corporate credit has nothing to do with me personally, nothing to do with any one of our employees personally. It has everything to do with our corporate credit standing. And so this is another thing that folks can use right away to start helping build their credit. You can get access to non-recourse funding. Non-recourse means there's no recourse against you. If the worst should happen and your business fails, which we pray that it doesn't, but if it should happen and it fails, there's no recourse that the banks can take against you to take away what you have left. The rest of your family's belongings or whatever it may be. Corporate credit is perhaps one of the best forms of funding, and this is something that we get our clients access to. So our funding team, when it comes to the business credit cards, we literally get you approved. So we do all of the work for our clients when it comes to applying and negotiating for credit cards. Now, the important thing to understand is that the consumer on their own is not going to have the success that we're going to have when we've already been applying and we're getting millions and millions of dollars of this every single month. We're literally getting 23 to 24 million a month in this form of funding. And so the type of success that we're going to have for you is going to be far beyond what you as a consumer are going to get on your own when you just kind of stumbling forward applying for this and let me try to apply for that. However, you will be able to get access to funding, and it will prove to you. All you have to do is go to Google, type in 0% business credit cards, and immediately you can see there's hundreds of them out there. And so you'll see immediately that there's lots of this type of credit available. You just have to know how to qualify for it. That's what our team does. And we literally get you approved for it. Our negotiators are interacting with the banks, doing the applications, and they are doing the applications for you. And they are doing the negotiations for you, and all you're doing is receiving the credit and saying thank you for all of this credit. So that's what we do for our clients. Here's a couple of examples. These are actually emails that clients have received in their inboxes. Of course, once when we're applying for you, you're going to get tons of these emails, and we get the clients to forward them to us. So this one for $37,000, $25,000, and remember, clients are getting multiple. When we do a credit card stacking batch, we're doing 4 or 5 of these at a time. As you can see here, this client got $50,000, $10,000, $15,000. That's $90,000 in 4 cards just from one batch of funding. And so this is the key, folks. This can be used for real estate. This can be used for a brick and mortar, for an e-commerce business. You can use it for whatever you want. And the greatest part is when you're using your credit cards, you're going to be getting cash back and rewards. So I have various different accounts that I use, and so I have a bunch of business credit cards. I have credit cards for my trust. I have credit cards for various different businesses, personal ones. And every single one of them gives me cash back, gives me rewards, gives me miles. Here's an example of cash back that I got from one of my cards last year. Here's an example of another one from last year, 1,600. This is from all the different quarters of last year, 6,000, 4,400, 4,088. This is our main business credit card. And because they pay us out quarterly. So look at this money, folks. Look at this. How much is that? 6,000, 16, 20, just within 1 year, we're talking like $25,000, $30,000, guys. And this is just from the one business credit card. Doesn't even count my other personal cards. And the long and short is that you're already having to do a lot of the spending. Is anybody paying for pay-per-click? Is anyone doing marketing? Is anyone paying for real estate? All of those things you can do on a business credit card. It's very simple and very easy to do. So if you look online, you'll see that this is a very proven concept. The credit card stacking process that Fund and Grow pioneered over the last 12 to 13 years is now taken off like wildfire all across the internet. And you can go online, you can Google us, you can see all the reviews that we have. And we've been doing this for a very long time. We're very proud to do this for our small business clients. We're generating lots of credit that's helping so many small businesses. We work together with a lot of the trusted names out there. And you can see a lot of them on here, from Ross Hamilton of Connected Investors to Mitch Stephen, Lee Arnold, Matt Andrews. There's a lot of different real estate gurus that we work together with. So by now you can see that this program is very comprehensive and that we are very thorough in what we do. And we would like to build you up to $250,000 of funding. And I know it might seem like we've been a little braggadocious throughout the call so far. But trust me, the reason I say these things is because what we realize we're doing is we're actually applying for a job. We're actually applying for a job with you. We would like you to hire us to get you funding. So it's important for me to let you know the different accolades that our company has produced. And so what we want to provide for you is everything that's on this slide right here. So $250,000 of funding, which includes the one-on-one coaching, it includes the lendable entity creation, it includes how to utilize this credit like cash and not get hit with all these cash advance fees, the credit coaching package, which is an ongoing program, and the corporate credit, which is the non-recourse funding. All of that is part of the program. And we also have two different bonuses. And so the bonus number one is free partner upgrade, which means that we're going to add on your partner, whoever your business partner is, or your husband or your wife, or whoever you want to work with, whether it be your adult children or your brother and sister, or it doesn't matter who your partner is. We're going to allow you to add on a partner at no cost. At no cost. So you're going to double whatever the cost I'm about to show you. You're going to get, buy one, get one free. And then the last bonus is our Prosperity Pulse coaching, which is how did we build Fund and Grow to what it is today? And that's all through our Prosperity Coach Pulsing, or our Prosperity Pulse coaching program. And this is a wonderful program where we literally are teaching people, how did we build Fund and Grow to what we're doing today, to over 24 million in funding per month, to where Fund and Grow as a small business is generating millions of dollars a month in sales in terms of the amount of clients that we're bringing in. All of that is covered in our Prosperity Pulse coaching package. And this is our higher level premium coaching package that we have. And we put out a new one of these every single month, which has all of the high level articles in it, that, from the critical things about merchant accounts and to marketing your business, to bringing in customers, to customer retention, every single thing involved in how Fund and Grow got onto the Inc. 5000 for the last 6 years in a row. That's what we discuss in the premium, in our premium program. So all of this today has been put together and put in place for the lowest price that we're going to be offering for the entire year. And you can find that at fundingspecial.com. So again, that's www.fundingspecial.com. So what that includes is a $700 discount. If you go directly to our website, to fundinggrow.com, you're not going to get this discount. So you have to go to fundingspecial.com. Otherwise, you're going to pay $700 extra and not get the bonuses. So again, what we're going to be including is 12 months of done-for-you membership, and that's for you and your partner. So you can select a secondary applicant. We're going to secure up to $250,000 of these 0% business credit cards. And then you have access to an additional $100,000 in corporate credit, which is the non-recourse corporate credit. And the first 15 that buy are going to get all the bonus items that were just discussed, the last 2 bonus items. So, and of course, this service is tax deductible because it is a business service. So what I wanted you to do is go to thefundingcall.com, and then what you'll see is this website right here. So I'm actually going to go ahead and pull it up. So you see right here, it says fundingspecial.com. Just go ahead and click enter, and you're going to come up to this site right here. So this is the membership client registration form. Now, you can choose to pay with a one-time fee of $32.97, and that is your full payment for the year. Or you could pay with 2 payments of $17.74. Now, obviously, that's a little bit more than $32.97. So if you're paying in 2 payments or 3 payments, then you're financing it. So then you're paying a little bit in financing fees, but it's still cheaper than anything you're going to get on our website by a lot. So what you do is you select which one you want. Of course, the best deal is the one pay, but you could pay in 2 payments. You could pay 3 payments of $12.66. So you could get started right now for $1,000 and change. You pay $12.66 today, then you pay the second $12.66 30 days from now, and then you pay the final $12.66 payment on day 60. And so what you do is go ahead and fill out your first name, last name, fill out all your information, your credit card, anything you'd like to communicate to us, and you join the Fund and Grow membership by hitting the green button below. So people, let me know if anybody is having a problem getting to the payment page. And in the meantime, we're going to move on. All right. So Brenda talks about how she just received $128,000 on her first batch, and she's thanking Michael, who was her consultant that she worked with. So again, one of the things that Michael did for Brenda was he helped maximize her lendability. He made it so that when we went to apply, we actually got large credit accounts. That's something that Brenda would not have got. She was not going to get $128,000 by stumbling around on her own. She did that because she went through the program, and we first positioned her personal credit, then we did the card stacking process, we executed it expertly and got the largest amounts of funding for her. And these are all really important aspects of the program. So if you're interested and you have other questions and we haven't answered those questions, I want you to come to the questions terminal right now and to ask your questions. Let us know what questions you have. We're going to try to get to them. So John's asking, if we do the multiple pay, will you still get started immediately? And the answer is yes. We will absolutely get started immediately. And then Ken asks, you might have mentioned this, but does the membership cover multiple businesses? And absolutely, it does. What we're going to do, Ken, is we're going to recommend to you what can get you the most amount of funding. Because getting you access to the funding is the number one thing. Which business, the businesses are almost less important, but just rest assured knowing that we can use your entities. So my husband needs over $100K to buy his truck. Evelyn, we have a lot of people that are buying trucks and buying rigs using business credit. So that is a really cool thing to do. We just love helping the truckers out. So Pierre says, I do not have a partner to add now. Can I add them at a later time? And the answer to that is yes. You can add them at a later time, Pierre. It doesn't matter exactly when. You can add them even 3-6 months into the program. Our program is to help people, not to get you caught up into some type of thing. If we can't help you, we're going to give you your money back. So the point of our program is to help people, not to get you caught into something that's not going to be helpful for you and not going to get you access to funding. There's literally a limitless things that you can do with this type of funding. Now, I see a couple people asking, can we use the money for marketing? What can I use the money for? So Kevin's asking, or Michael's asking, can we use the money for marketing? And so the answer is you can use it for literally whatever you want. We don't recommend going to Walmart and buying flat screen TVs with it, but there's no money police that's going to come and tell you what to do. And you can go to places like Plastic. So Plastic is this wonderful service that if you are working together, if you're trying to pay for a service, and that service or whatever that you're trying to pay for, they don't run credit cards, then you can use Plastic. So you go to Plastic, you run the card through their website, they send a check to the vendor, or they pay the vendor. They can do a wire, they can do an ACH, or they can do the old snail mail. So most of our clients go to Plastic, they swipe the card, and then it wires money to their title agency, and they buy the real estate that they're looking for. So Plastic is a wonderful service, and this isn't the only one. There's many of these different services out there that can help you use the funding and be able to take that funding just to a whole new level in terms of actually using it. You might think, what can I do with a credit card? There's so many things you can do with a credit card. Anything you can do with cash, you can do with a credit card. So here we have Sergi talking about the $74,000 he got. I recently wired $45,000 cash down payment for my second rental property using Plastic, and that included their 2.5% charge in order to do the wire. 2.5% for a wire. Think how cheap that is, guys. So here we have Nick Perry, and a lot of you on the call, on webinar, on YouTube, you may even know who Nick Perry is. He's a big real estate investor, and he's worked together with us. And he also teaches a lot of other people on how they can grow their real estate businesses. And in his words, he grew his business from $40,000 to $400,000. And it was his monthly revenues. So now he's generating over $400,000 in monthly revenues from being able to access funding and from being able to really just jumpstart his business. So we'll go ahead and hit play on this video on Nick Perry's testimonial.
So yeah, last month, and as the recording right now, it's April 14th, 2020. March was a record month for us. We did just over 400. So now, yeah,
10 extra revenue from a few years ago.
Correct. I mean, without having that liquidity in runway, it would have been a real grind to make that happen.
That's awesome.
After coming back from a mastermind, I said, this is the answer. I need to just quit being gun shy and make it happen. So, that was one of the best decisions of my life. I still would say, business and financially, Fund and Grow is one of the smartest moves I've made, hands down.
They're saying it. They're on here. They can't hear it. Okay, guys. So I'm not sure. It looks like a bunch of people mentioned that was really quiet. Sorry about that. But we were just trying to get that testimonial played. It was a little quiet. But let's get back to some of your guys' questions here. Okay, so a lot of people are asking, what can I expect when I get started? And okay, so that's a great question. What can I expect when I get started? So up on your screen, I've put what we call the client funding journey. And so you start here at step one. What is step one? You get started with our service. You go to fundingspecial.com and get started with our lowest price of the year. So then the second step is to access your client portal. What does that mean? That means you log into the website and fill out your info. Once you've logged into the website and fill out your info, now we can start working for you. So you have to complete your portal profile. So once you have completed that, we then go in and we pull your report. We look at your whole business profile and what we can do to maximize getting you funding. That's our step 5. Step 4, we then move forward and do all of the work that we've identified in step 4, which is if there's any improvement that needs to happen in your profile, we then move forward and do that. Sometimes we need to work together with you in step 5. We might need your help to do certain things, and the faster you help us, the faster we can move forward to step 6, which is applications and negotiations. That's where our team applies for you. We apply and we negotiate in order to get you access to the credit that we're talking about. So there's going to be multiple accounts that you're applied for, multiple accounts that are negotiated for. Our negotiators are going to be in contact with you. You're going to be in complete lockstep. You're going to know what's happening. They're going to message you and let you know when approvals are coming in. Then you're going to ask them, how do I utilize this? How do I pay for my real estate? How do I buy that roof for my rehab? How do I buy inventory for my Amazon e-commerce business? How do I do that? So then our team's going to help you with that step, how to get the cash off the cards, lowest interest, in order to invest into your business. So then what do? Start the whole process over again. We review your lendability and your position so that we can move forward and do steps of basically 5 through 7 again, or 5 through 6 again, which is essentially apply over and over. And so this is what we do. In order to continue to build your credit higher and higher, we just do these steps over and over, which is essentially applying for you, negotiating, getting higher amounts of funding, merging accounts together, and then removing inquiries so that we can, a few months later, do another round of applications with different 0% providers, and then merge them and build them larger as well. So this is basically the client journey. This is what you go through. This is what we do for you. And this is something that you can do on your own. It's not exactly the easiest thing to do on your own. If it's not something that you do all the time, our people know it much better because this is what they're doing all the time. They're literally generating 23 to 24 million a month in funding. That's the amount of funding that we generate for our clients. And again, we're not trying to be braggadocious by telling you that. The simple fact of the matter is we're here applying for a job with you. And in my job application, I'm just trying to tell you my bona fides as to why I think you should hire Fund and Grow to get you funding. And today we have the best discount that we're going to have all year for you. And so go to fundingspecial. Don't go to fundandgrow.com, because if you go to fundandgrow.com, you're going to pay our full price, which is $4,000. So if you go to, you can. If you guys want to pay us $4,000, that's totally cool. But if you want to get the $700 off, go to fundingspecial.com, and that way you'll get access to our lowest price of the year. We call it our Spring to Success Special, where we're trying to help small businesses spring back into action after all of the turmoil of the last couple years. We won't go into it all, but let's just say that the banks are back and ready to lend, and they are lending amazing, huge amounts. We're getting more funding than we did before the pandemic. And so that's really wonderful to see the banks finally stand behind small businesses and to help small businesses, because we're just generating more than ever before from all of the major banks and the regional footprint banks. And this 0% funding is really, really, really helping lots of clients. And I recommend go online and Google us. You will see how many different recommendations we have. Our team works so hard to generate this funding. And if you're ever in the Spring Hill area down here in Florida, come and visit us. Come and say hi to our team. We love having people over, and we love talking to our affiliates and our clients. And one of the things that we're really good at is interacting with people. Our team is here to take care of our clients. So as you can see online, we do have some people that complain about us, but you'll see that we follow up with every single one of them. We want to make them happy. When we're dealing with people's money and their finances and their bank accounts, you're going to have people that allege and claim all kinds of crazy stuff because you're dealing with their money. And we understand that and we respect that. And we want you to understand that we will always go the extra mile and go all the lengths necessary to get you access to funding and to treat every single person, every single client in our system as a person, not just as a number. So again, for all of those that are just joining, so what's included is our $250,000 credit package, and that includes our coaching. Our coaching is what's going to get you there. Our coaching is what's going to help fix your profile. It's what's going to tell you what's going on. Our coaches are the ones that are analyzing your report and letting you know what needs to happen. And then we're going to help you if you need a lendable entity. We're going to help you on how to utilize the cash off of the credit accounts without having to pay cash advance fees. And all of that's part of the credit coaching package. We're also going to help you with non-recourse credit. And what is non-recourse credit? We talked about it earlier on the call. Maybe people have joined since then. But non-recourse credit is credit that would never come back on you personally. They'd never be able to come after your personal assets, which is a really, really cool thing. So for everyone who's getting started today, we have these partner upgrades, which gives you access to our Prosperity Pulse coaching program and the archive of all of our past articles, where we literally discuss how did we get Fund and Grow to where we're doing millions of dollars a month in sales? How did we get Fund and Grow to where we're doing 24 million a month in funding? All of this is about business growth. And we put our money where our mouth is. We share all of that in our Prosperity Pulse coaching membership. And we teach people how they can grow their small business and do the same thing. And again, we have this exclusive discount that is only for a very short period of time. I don't even know how long it's for. I think it might be just for the end of this call. But for a very short period of time, we're having this discount. So if the fundingspecial.com website is still up, then you can go and you can get it with the $700 off. And on your screen, you're going to see some examples of accounts that we negotiated. So right here on your screen, folks, I'm gonna circle the part I want you to take a look at. So right here on your screen is a snapshot from our software, from inside what our employees see. So our employees are sitting at their desk and they're pulling up, and right here we have a client. We got their name blanked out, but this client we applied for. And when we applied, it took us 7 appeals to get them $31,000 to get them up to $63,000. Now, when we first applied, we got them $31,000. Then we had to appeal and negotiate over and over again to get up to this $60,000. So increase to $63,000 was approved. So it went from a $31,000 approval to a $63,000 approval, folks. That's what we do. We're pushing for the large amounts, the amounts that you're scared to even tell the underwriter. Like, I want 60 grand. Our underwriters, our negotiators, they're not scared. This is what they're getting all the time. Here's a client that went from 25,000 to 40,000. And again, this is what's happening all the time. We have examples of clients that when they apply on their own, they're getting nothing, literally zeros. You see this? 0 to 25,000, 0 to 26,000, 0 to 11. This client, when they applied for all of these banks, which we've marked off, we're not letting you know what banks that we applied at for them, but they would have gotten declined at all of them if it wasn't for our negotiators. Same up here. And of course, yes, these are screenshots from our program, so we're asking you to take our word. But this is what clients experience. When we apply for them, they are not getting anything meaningful until we call and do the negotiation process. The negotiation process is essentially us calling, touching base with the bank, explaining to them your business, who you are, and when our clients sign up with us, we have a power of attorney, a limited power of attorney, giving us permission to call the banks and do this one particular thing. Doesn't give us permission to do anything else other than call the banks and get you credit. We're not allowed to hurt you in any way. We're only allowed to help you. That's what the limited power of attorney is for. And so once you give us your permission to do this work for you by giving approval on the limited power of attorney, we then take care of all of it for you. You're not going to be doing this negotiating. That's people just don't do it on their own. People don't know how to do it. They're too scared to even ask for what they actually want. But we know what the banks will give. We understand your profile, and we know how to get you the maximum amount because we've literally done it with thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of clients. Here's more examples. Client got 42,000, another client 25,000. If you go to thefundingspecial.com, you'll see more examples. On the Funding Special website, we have testimonials where clients are talking about how much funding they got. So here's Dylan. He's a young entrepreneur. He's got 231,000. I think he's gone through, I'm not sure how many batches he's gone through so far, but he mentions, that was within his first batch of funding, $231,000, folks. So if you have really good credit, you're going to be getting on the higher end. We want to give averages. So that's why we're telling people $250,000 over the life of the membership. But you, like Dylan, might get it on your very first batch. And so this client here, do you think he was getting more than $250,000 in his 1 year? Of course he is. So if you have good credit, you're going to be like Dylan. You're going to get higher amounts of funding. Now, what if I'm not like Dylan? What if I don't have good credit? Then what? Well, the great thing is that you're in America. You have access to credit. Have you ever gone to has anyone on the call ever gone to any of the islands? Like, you ever gone to like Nassau or the Bahamas, and you notice the way that they build their homes? Not all the homes, but many of the homes, especially if you've driven around in the islands for a while, you'll see that they build one level and then there's rebar sticking out the top. And then there'll be another level built, but there's still rebar sticking out the top. That's because mom and dad built their house, and then the kids are building the next level for when they're getting married, and then their kids are building another level. And it's because they don't have access to what we have access to, which is mortgages, to be able to build an entire home. And we don't realize how blessed and how lucky we are to be able to go to a bank and get access to $250,000 or more in funding. We should really be thankful that we're able to do this. Now, if your credit isn't there, if you don't have good credit, and you're like, well, that's fine, Ari, but I can't go to a bank and get this. Well, that's fine. You still have the ability to fix your credit. And then you could go to the bank. At least you're not in freaking Nassau, Bahamas, where you wouldn't even be able to get access to that. And so the beautiful thing about being able to do credit repair is that you can fix any of these blemishes from your past. I know I had blemishes from my past from when I was in college. It's part of how I pioneered a whole credit repair process of fixing credit, was by fixing my own credit and deleting all these nasty items off my report. And I caused those problems. But you know what? I needed to move on. They were caused in the past. And guess who else has caused problems? Guess who else defaulted? Some of the biggest banks in the freaking world. You guys know that. The biggest banks in the world default. Do they get a red mark on their credit report? Do they get something negative against them? No, they get bailed out by freaking Congress. So if you have bad credit, don't feel bad. You can fix it. And you can fix it pretty easily. There's a lot of different credit repair companies out there. You could fix it yourself. Or you could work with a partner. We have a partner that we work with called Kadam Credit Help. And they're an amazing company. They actually have this 4-channel dispute process where a lot of credit repair companies, for some reason, they like to only disputing by sending letters in the mail. They just send letters, and they send more letters. And so basically what the letters are is them disputing the negative items on your credit report. And the crazy thing about all this is that there's 4 different ways to dispute with the credit bureaus, but they only do one. Over and over, they send another letter, and then they send another letter, and sending another letter, you ask them, hey, what's going on? Oh, we're going to send another letter. It's like, there's more than one way to do this, folks. Like, you could send a letter to dispute an item. You could also do an internet dispute. Did you know that? You can log online and do an internet dispute, and you're shifting gears, and you're interacting with a completely different department at the bureau. You could call in and deal with people that are trained to deal with irate, individuals and crazy people. The people on the phone are completely different than the geeks in the internet department. And guess what? Some of the bureaus also have a fax number. So you can fax your dispute. You can mail your dispute. You can verbally call in your dispute. You can do your dispute online and through the internet. And each time you're switching gears and you're trying in a different department. These companies out there that just do one thing, they're crap. They're not going to get anything deleted off your report. If you really want to get stuff deleted off your report, go with this company. They get stuff deleted for our clients all the time. Then they're back into our program actually getting funding. And you can use the funding for such a variety of things. So you can use the funding for real estate. You can use the funding for e-commerce. You can use the funding for a brick and mortar, such as a pizza, restaurant, a hair salon. Honestly, guys, you can use it for a virtually unlimited amount of things. And you, of course, want to make sure that you're spending it on something that will generate an ROI, a return on your investment. You want to generate money. You're not just using funding to buy flat screen TVs and to, thinking you're upgrading your life. If that's you, don't even buy this program. Don't even buy this program if you don't have something that you're planning on investing into. If you're just planning on getting this to pay off your college debt or to just to go and buy a new car for yourself, this is not the program for you. For that, you just need to fix your credit and you just need to go and get a normal conventional loan. This is for entrepreneurs, for people looking to become real estate investors, or that is already a seasoned real estate investor and wants to be able to rehab and flip more, be able to gain access to materials. Quick and easy credit cards are just easy to use credit accounts, and you can just use them at Home Depot or at Lowe's or whatever. This is for the e-commerce business that's trying to buy more inventory. This is for the digital service that wants to get their marketing out there through pay-per-click, through Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram marketing. Credit cards are perfect. Funding Growth spends around 80, 90, 100,000 a month in pay-per-click marketing for us to market on YouTube and on Google and on Facebook. And the credit cards are a perfect way to fund that. And guess what you get? You get all your airline miles and your rewards and your cash back. It's actually cheaper. It brings the cost way, way down. So there's a lot of questions coming in, and we've kind of distilled down a lot of the questions. I'm not going to get more specifically. Hilda, I'm going to answer your questions. Musa, Ash, Clara, I'm going to get to all your guys' questions. But here I'm going to be able to answer a lot of them just by hitting up a few of these slides real quick. So everyone's asking, the Fund and Grow website says the cost is $4,000. That's because you need to go to the fundingspecial.com. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to send that out into the GoToWebinar, and we're also going to make a YouTube comment so that people can just go ahead and click the link. But we're going to send it out. It's fundingspecial.com. That way you get the $700 off. If you go directly to our website, then that's our full price, $4,000. So that's our normal price. We're doing a special right now. So what happens when your membership expires is, and we don't ever expire you just like exactly on month 12. We want to make sure that you have been able to complete your last batch of funding. And so we're not like super sticklers about that. We're going to make sure that you finish that last batch of funding. And so what you do is on your next membership, you then come to us and we will, in many cases, honor if you didn't already have a discount, we will honor a 10% discount, or we will sign you up at the original cost that you paid for us for the first time. So our process, our cost, is already at rock bottom. And if you're on our webinar, more than likely you've already seen the cost of a lot of these other companies out there that are trying to charge 20% for the amount of funding they're getting you. Imagine if we charged 20% on $24 million a month in funding. That would be a good business model, but that wouldn't help you guys out as much. So what we do is we've compacted this down into a membership cost. Instead of charging a percentage of all the funding we get, which we would make a lot more off of, we just charge a one-time fee. And then that way we can get the client access to a lot of funding without nickeling, diming them. So who can I use as my secondary partner or my secondary applicant? You can use any person that is above the age of 18 and that has good credit. You could use your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, your spouse, your friend, your business partner, your adult children. Of course, if they have good credit, that's going to be the key. Now, you're going to tell your secondary applicant, this funding will not show up on your credit report. We are using your credit report as the guarantor to get business funding, which reports to the EIN number. So you explain that to the secondary, and so that they understand exactly what their place is. But any person can be your secondary as long as you and them have, a working relationship, and you guys understand that you're going to work together on that. So, and the payment plans are a way of clients being able to get access to our funding without having to pay full price. So we have two different ways that you can work with us, and or three different ways you can work with us, and those are three different payments. So you can pay the full price, or you can pay in 2 payments or 3 payments. And the 2 pay and the 3 pay is set up to help people that don't have the full price. If you don't have the full, $32.97 right now, and you want to pay just $1,000 and change to get started, then you can do that, and you'll get access to the entire program right away. Many times, clients are already receiving funding, before payments 2 and 3 are even needed to be paid. So imagine you sign up for $12.66, we move you forward, funding's already rolling in. You can even switch and pay for the second payments on the business funding credit cards that we set up for you. So, and again, if anyone would like to call in, I'd like to give the number out. So the number for anyone who would like to call in, we have people on standby, is 1-800-996-0270. So if anyone's interested and they would like a phone call, go ahead and call 800-996-0270. Now, if you're ready to get started, you just have one last question, and you want someone to give you a call right now, go ahead if you're on our webinar, not on YouTube, but if you're on the webinar, go and put your phone number in, and we will have someone call you. Now, if you're on YouTube, don't go and put your phone number in, okay? On the comment section. Just go ahead and call us. But if you're on our webinar, which is on GoToWebinar, then you can put your phone number in, and we will have someone give you, okay, Priscilla, we got your number. Frank, Cesar, yep, Rayana, we got your numbers. And so we will have somebody reach out to you guys. Yep, okay, so I see a lot of numbers flowing in. So if you're ready to get started and you're on the webinar, just go ahead and put your phone number in, and we'll have someone from our sales team reach out and go ahead and collect the payment and get you into the program. Now, if you're ready to get started and you would like to do that online and get our discount as well, and you get the discount either way, whether you call in or whether you go online, then go to thefundingspecial.com and you can get started. And again, here is the website that you'll see. You're going to see Lori's review over here on the right, and then Nick Perry. Remember we heard from Nick where he went from doing 40,000 to 450,000. Then we have another client, Richard Still, who's mentioning his success with our program, and within 35 days received 112,000 in 0% credit. That's pretty amazing, 112,000 in 35 days. So if you guys want fast track to funding, then go ahead and get started with us. We want to help you. Now, what are the fast track keys? Now that is, if you have a 680 plus score, then you're kind of in a good position to get started. And if your balances, meaning the balances of your credit cards to the credit limits, are below 30%, then you're in the zone. You're in the zone to get started and to get funded. So if your balances are below 30%, then you're good to go. And again, for those asking, what's all included? Joe's asking, what are the plastic fees? So Joe, if you go to the website, you can see what plastics fees are, but they're like 2.5% for like a wire transfer. So it's not like a cash advance fee or something like that where it could be super outrageous. It's a simple, you're paying for your wire transfer, which you'd have to pay for anyway. So for those asking again, what's all included, just take a look on your screen and you can see that all of this is included in today's special, which is $250,000, the one-on-one coaching, which is us building you everything you need from your entity to how to get the cash off the cards, just like what Joe was just talking about, how to get the cash off the cards. So we're going to help you with all that. And if you have any other questions, come and ask us your question, because we're going through the questions right now. And so how does this program help with building a DUNS score for new companies? So Anitra is asking, how does this program help with building a DUNS score for new companies? So our do-it-yourself corporate credit program allows you to build from the DUNS number all the way up to your trade accounts, all the way up to buying your own building. Now, of course, when you want to buy your own building, you're going to have your revenue too. That's a final thing. But we had to have all of our DUNS number, all of our trade accounts, everything had to be in place in order for us to even have a proper DNB score, in order for us to be able to get access to our corporate credit loan. And so you really need to start with the basics and build your way up to be able to have, just like when you're in high school and you didn't have a credit score. And then you graduate, and then you get your first car, you get your first credit card. You built your personal credit score. It's the same with DNB. It has to be built up, and we're expert at helping people with that. So Lewis is asking, do you have people that speak Spanish? And yes, we have people. If you're a Spanish speaker and you want us to give you a call, go ahead and put your phone number into the GoToWebinar comments area, and just mention that you speak Spanish, and we'll have a Spanish-speaking person reach out to you. All right. So Eddie asked, does my business have to be generating an income in order to get funding? You will want to have some type of income coming in on your business, but the good thing is that you could also use your personal income. So any income that you have, all can be used in order to get access to the business credit. And another thing that can be used is projections. Now, we have to tell the bank the right way about the projections, but we are able to tell them the honest truth of whatever your income is. And then when we're negotiating with them, we can tell them, we project that this business is going to make X, Y, Z based off getting access to funding. And so projections are something that businesses use to get access to funding, even if they're not making money right now. And the whole point to that is that a business has to project what their income is, and then they have to let the bank know that. So for anyone who's interested in getting started now, I would highly recommend go to thefundingspecial.com so you can get access to the Spring to Success special. This is not something that we're going to have open for a super long period of time. I'm going to go ahead and answer a few more questions, and then we're going to sign off. So if there's if anyone has questions that I still haven't got to, come to the questions area, because there's literally so many questions in here. It's kind of hard to keep up. But come, if I haven't answered your question, come and put it to the top of the questions area. So can you 1099 as income? Yes, you can. Evelyn, do you require tax returns? Priscilla, no, we do not require tax returns. So Shamika says, one more question. If my credit is not 680, should I work on my own credit first? The question is, Shamika, how quickly do you need the funding? Our people are going to be able to help you raise your score faster than you'll be able to do on your own. That's a fact. But if you need the funding like within 1 week or something, really short window of time, then no, that's not going to work. But if you need the funding within a few months period of time, then absolutely that might work. I recommend giving our team a call. They will run what's called a pre-qualification, and they'll look at your score, and then they'll be able to answer your question in black and white. And that way, just like an attorney, until we actually look at it, it's kind of hard to answer your question specifically and concretely. So once they look at it, they'll be able to answer that for you. So Johnny's asking, if I add another person, you set them up separately with their own business? And the answer to that is yes. They would be set up with their own entity. Unless you would like to use them on your own entity, then yes, we would actually have to set them up on a separate entity. All right. Anitra says, thank you. I'm signing up. You are highly recommended. And she mentions the name of the affiliate that highly recommends us. Awesome. Awesome. So let's try to see the YouTube comments. All right, guys, give me just 1 second. I'm just switching over to our YouTube comments real quick so that I can help, so I can answer some of those. All right. Okay, it looks like our team's been getting to a lot of your questions through the chat console. Awesome. It looks like most of those questions have been answered. All right. So Angie wants someone to help check her credit before signing up. I'm sorry, folks. There's literally so many questions coming in. I'd answer 1 out of 20, but I don't think this is the perfect venue for it. So, guys, what I think would be best is for you to go ahead and call our 800 number. If anyone else has any further questions about the program, go ahead and call 1-800-996-0270. For anyone within GoToWebinar that has already put their phone number in, we're going to have our sales team reach out to you directly. And we look forward to serving all of you who have gotten started already. And I can just see dozens and dozens of people have already got started. And so we're looking forward to serving all of these new clients that have got started with us, all these small businesses. In fact, we're excited to serve you and to help move small businesses forward in America. We are big proponents of small businesses in America, and small businesses flourishing and coming back and doing better. It's really been a travesty. It's been horrible what's happened over the past few years, where so many small business owners have taken the brunt of everything that's been going on in society. And so we're here to help you get a leg up, to help you get back in the game, to help you get ahead when it comes to getting your inventory, to being able to hire new employees, whatever it is that you need your funding for. We're here to help you. And you can go to fundingspecial.com and fill out a contact us request form if there's anything else that you need us to reach out to you for. But thank you everyone for joining us today. It's been a wonderful event, and we hope to be working with you soon.